Emily Ratajkowski has established herself as a multifaceted talent, entrepreneur, writer, actress, model, and activist. Her debut book, an essay collection called My Body, is now out. I recently had a chance to talk with her about how sexual power is wielded in our society and her personal path toward harnessing that power. What made you start writing this collection of essays?
So I didn't know that I was writing a collection of essays when I started. I would come home from dinner sometimes with friends and feel like I hadn't articulated an idea or thought about something in the right way, or, was interested in exploring something and would just sit in bed, honestly. So it was really kind of an organic experience of just wanting to investigate the experiences.
So at the time that you decided, I'm actually going to release this as a book, was it an attempt to take control back of your public image?
I think it was sort of to set the record straight and also to become somebody who makes something. Definitely also about control, but as somebody who had always been sort of a one-dimensional, a lot of people are used to me as an image, seeing images of me. I wanted to give that image a voice.
And you write at one point that your hypocrisy gave you a headache with regard to when you were trying to, sell your image with regard to bikinis and your Instagram hustle. What did you mean by that? Why did you feel that your hypocrisy was giving you a headache?
I had an actual headache, but I think that there have been a lot of moments in my career where I've wanted to take as much control as possible. It's one of the reasons that I have my swimwear business. It felt like, listen, I'd rather be doing my own hustle than be working for someone else. But at the same time, it felt and looked very similar to what I was doing for what I would be doing for someone else. So I think that, knowing that I was putting images out there and kind of capitalizing on my body, and knowing that people were going to continue and maybe, perpetuating that narrative of I am just a body was very difficult for me and continues to be.
And you're right about those clickbait headlines. Obviously, the allegations against Robin Thicke have gotten a lot of attention. But you say that at the time you felt that you didn't handle it how you would have liked. If you were to go back to it now, how would you have handled it?
I don't know if I would have handled it differently. I mean, it's one of those things where, that was my big break. And I'm not sure that making a big fuss on the set of my big break would have served me in the long run. I don't know if I'd be here talking to you, having this conversation about my book. I do think that, the onus is often on women to kind of adjust how they react and act. And I wish that it wasn't always that way. I wish that our culture could change.
And at one point you write about a young man in high school who you were dating who was forcing himself on you, and you say that you wish that somebody had told you at that time that you didn't owe him anything. What is your message to young girls, to young women who are out there and you that perhaps you hope they'll take away from reading this book?
Yeah, I think at one point when I was writing the book, I realized that I'd really developed this kind of yes man attitude of just never wanting to really have boundaries or talk about what made me feel comfortable or uncomfortable. And, the industry really encourages that. You never want to kind of complain about things because you're replaceable, and being an agreeable model is kind of being good at your job. But I realized that I'd learned that even as a young person, as young as 14, sort of not to assert myself and to have agency. I think that, I would tell a young girl that you're going to say no, and you're going to, have limits and things that you don't want to do. And people are going to make you feel really bad about that. And that's okay. And you have to be okay with their discomfort.
Do you think that it takes sometimes exposing our vulnerability and being super transparent in order to ultimately be empowering?
I think that for women, the kind of vulnerability that I have in this book, I was really used to having it with my close female friends. And it takes a really long time for women to kind of let their guard down and start opening up and feeling like they can share the moments where they haven't been just superwoman all the time. And I want to see more of that in the world in general.
And I know that you have said also that this is not your, hashtag Me Too kind of book. But I'm curious with regard to the industry at large and what continues to be the misogyny. Do you feel like all of the outside noise is starting to change the core of the industry?
I don't know. I think that there's kind of this weird fear now, like about being canceled, which, maybe means that people sometimes behave more appropriately, but I don't think that that's an actual cultural shift.
And lastly, for somebody who might see this book and potentially dismiss it like, oh, this is just a book from a model, what do you hope that people would really lean into and feel like, no, there actually is some good content here to learn?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, this isn't a book about modeling. And obviously my industry, the industry of modeling revolves around commodification of women's bodies. So it's really specific in that way. But I think the most interesting parts of my experience, and I'm hoping people connect to the most, are the things that started way, way before I was modeling. Just learning to kind of value the way I look and what it means to be beautiful or play that kind of game. I think every woman can relate to that.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.